Welcome to a presentation of the National Endowment for the Humanities Division of Preservation and Access's Research and Development Grant Program. I am Senior Program Officer Joshua Sternfeld. I will provide a brief history of the program and highlight for you a few of our successful awards that have had an impact across several humanities disciplines. First, there are a few colleagues I would like to thank for their assistance. Laura Word for her knowledge of NEH's support of preventive conservation, and Adriana Cutler for designing the PowerPoint slides. I would also like to extend a special acknowledgement to Helen Aguera and Charles Kolb, who have been program officers and coordinators of NEH's research and development support over the years. Without them, many of the projects and programs that will be discussed today would not have been nearly as successful as they have been. The issues that we face today in preserving and accessing humanities collections may seem complex and daunting. How can we secure digitally the historical record for generations to come? How do we slow the deterioration of physical collections while also achieving environmental and financial sustainability? What preservation principles should we apply to entirely new media formats, such as websites, databases, and art installations, collectively described as born digital? What standards and best practices are necessary to ensure the long-term preservation of audio-visual collections, considered one of the most unstable yet ubiquitous formats of our modern cultural heritage? Solutions to these issues will have far-reaching impact for the individual humanities scholar and institutions large and small, such as museums, libraries, archives, and historical societies. For over 3 decades, the National Endowment for the Humanities has been committed to supporting preservation and access-related research. If you were to look for a long history of our division's program, Research and Development, however, you may be surprised to find that the program, in its current form, is less than a decade old. For a more complete picture, we must include a series of programs spread across this division and even earlier in the Division of Research. Former programs, such as the Research Division's Reference Materials and Tools, followed by our division's Research and Demonstration projects, while smaller in terms of the number of applications received, paved the way for R&D's more comprehensive coverage. Today's presentation will depart from a traditional program history. After a brief overview of NEH's early funding, which targeted the relatively nascent field of conservation science, we will look at 2 projects that have had widespread influence. We will begin with the multi-award development of a standard for the digital reproduction of textual materials, called the Text Encoding Initiative, or TEI. Next, we will consider a single award for a project called Sound Directions that has had a major impact on the development of best practices for the digital preservation of audio collections. Altogether, these projects will touch upon one or more of the areas that our R&D program has highlighted in recent grant cycles as particularly relevant and worthy of special interest: digital preservation, audiovisual preservation, and preventive conservation. Too often, it is easy to overlook the fundamental effect R&D projects can have on the work in the humanities, whether through scholarship, education, or public programming. The outcomes in R&D tend to remain outside the NEH limelight. However, through a multiplier effect, they can often lead to breakthroughs in the humanities that have had profound and enduring results.